Hey everyone, Austin Eller here from the Frameskip podcast, and today we are doing something super special, of course. Today was the big day. Nintendo Switch 2 officially announced after just a flurry of rumors over the past few months and leaks. So it's time for us to take a look. I will be reacting to the announcement trailer. I've seen a few screenshots here and there on Twitter throughout the day, but I have not watched this official announcement video in full until this exact moment. So you will see my first reactions to this news, and I'm sure I'll take a look at some of the small, finer details that are in this trailer as well. So here we go.
Frame. Skip. Get ready. It's going to be a very, very intense journey.
The original classic Switch. Wow, quite a bit bigger. All right, so we're seeing all the buttons. Headphone jack there. Presumably this is the, yep, that's, oh, cool. I like the back, the stand. Less bulky than the old one. Joy-Cons are exactly the ones that leaked. I see they're covering up what has leaked as the C button. There's nothing there on the button. I do wonder if the analog sticks are going to be any bigger. Okay, so that may be kind of confirming, we'll certainly talk about it, but the mouse functionality. Oh, so there's actually ports on the side. That's interesting. You've got the magnets at work. I like it. Very cool. Exactly what leaked, though. Well, there's your, presumably, Mario Kart 9. I like the dock. Very curious about the magnets. I wonder if they're going to be like Apple's, I forget what it's called, but the magnet solution. Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives as well as Nintendo Switch games. We get a Nintendo Direct on Switch 2 on April 2nd. Okay. So pretty straightforward, not a whole lot to it. So I'd certainly want to go back and kind of trim through this. So this is the original launch Switch. I wonder if this is a real size comparison here. Because it does seem quite a bit bigger. The only thing I will say that I'm not a big fan of is it still has these pretty big bezels on certainly on the left and right side. I mean, I'm sure we'll get used to it like we did with the original Switch, but I wanted to pause it here because you can just visually see by the size of these Joy-Cons how much larger Switch 2 is, if this is a one-to-one comparison. All right, so let's see, what else do we have here? So let's kind of, I'm gonna set the playback speed a little slower so we can kind of see here if there's anything I missed. So these plus and minus, or plus buttons, I guess, oh no, those are just screws. Those are just screws. You got your power, speakers, I guess that's the USB-C. You know what, am I missing something here? Are there two USB-C ports, or am I losing my mind? It's presumably that's the bottom. I guess it's hard to tell, but I'm assuming that's a USB-C port here. And that's another one. So I wonder if they're doing that for... I could be totally mistaken, but I wonder if they're doing that so that people that have USB-C headphones can use those, because those are a thing. I do really like the stand. I think that's much cleaner than what is on the Switch OLED in particular. The Switch original stand is a disaster because it's so tiny. The OLED one is much better, but it's so bulky because you've got that huge like plate almost. Like the entire back bottom half of the console comes out. This looks a little better. Although I am curious how well this stands up. All right. And I think you can kind of see up there. Yeah, I mean up to the left of the headphone jack up at the top, you can kind of see that USB-C. So I'm pretty sure there are two USB-C ports. Yeah, and you can see the other one down there. So definitely, you definitely have two. That may be for chat purposes, possibly, like I said. All right, I'm gonna pause it here on this. Definitely bigger Joy-Cons. I wonder, you know what, let's go back here. So, because now we've got one of each. So, again, this is all dependent on if this is a one-to-one. I don't know if it is, but if it is, I mean, the buttons look a little bit bigger. The analog stick certainly seems bigger on the new Joy-Con, which I'm a big fan of. I don't have any huge issues with the original Switch Joy-Con analog sticks, but I've tried a few shooters like Borderlands and stuff like that using those analog sticks, and because they are so small, it is a little challenging at times. So as I pointed out though too, if you look on the bottom right of the new Switch 2 Joy-Con, that button down there beneath what is the home button, the square button, there's no logo or anything or any writing on the button for these renderings for this announcement, but the leaks have shown that is a C button. And I know that some of the leaks were also claiming it may be something to do with chat, because of course you've already got the capture button on the left side. That's still a thing. I'm gonna mute this because we don't need to hear the this music again. Yeah, so like these are now both the Switch 2 Joy-Cons. You've still got that the capture button on the left Joy-Con. So I really do believe the leaks that that bottom right button on the right Joy-Con is a chat button, and that the Switch 2 will in fact be getting some sort of party chat or something like that. I think that that would make a lot of sense. All right, so skip forward here. I want to look at this. So anything weird we're seeing here? I mean, nothing too out of normal. I think the port on the side of the Joy-Con is kind of interesting. Of course, that's quite a bit different than what you have on this the Switch One. I think the ports are in like the rail mechanic, if I'm not mistaken, like maybe at the bottom. But this one is dead center, of course, for the magnets. So we'll see how that holds up. I'm a little worried about the port jutting out on the side of the system, which we'll get to in a second here. Let's see here. You can, yeah, I mean, this pretty much matches up with the leaks. This is the interesting part. So it'll be fascinating. Part of the leak was that you could turn the Joy-Con sideways, like you're seeing here, and use it as a mouse. Now, I'm not sure what you would use that for, but supposedly it's a possibility. I mean, because my thought is like if you're sitting on your couch, usually, as most people are playing Switch, who's gonna? Okay, so I'm gonna pause it here before we get too crazy. But to continue my point, I don't know who's going to want to use that as a mouse, like sitting on the couch. I could kind of see you doing it as a portable, like if you've got it in the tabletop mode and doing it that way, or even like right now, I'm sitting at my desk. Certainly, it would work there. But in a standard TV couch setup, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if that's accurate. That it's got some mouse-like features, but who knows? So this is the part I'm a little concerned about. I don't know that it's going to be a huge issue, but that port jutting out right in the middle where the Joy-Con attaches, that is pretty big. I'm a little worried about people dropping their Switches, Switch 2s, or like kids, getting things in there and breaking that port, because that juts out quite far. Although maybe there's some mechanic or something where it retracts when the Joy-Con's off of it. I don't know. I would be surprised if that's the case, but it's certainly possible. I do like the coloration. I like that the inside of the where the Joy-Con docks, like on the Switch itself, has got that blue and orange as well. I think that's pretty cool. And I think the overall look of the thing is nice. I mean, it looks very Steam Deck like. It looks very high end, frankly, compared to the current Switch. Like the overall colorization and everything, it's very clean. All right, and then of course we get our first look at presumably again what is Mario Kart 9. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Um, I mean, this is certainly a new track. This is not one that's been in the games before. Is there anything else we're missing here? There is a Mario Kart TV truck there, so presumably this will still have replays. And if this does have some sort of sharing or communication system, I'm sure that would work pretty well to be able to, share your replays with your friends or send screenshots to each other, send messages. I do like the dock. I think the dock looks good. I'm wondering what the exact purpose of the shorter frame is compared to the screen. I feel like there has to be a reason they're doing that. I know that some of the leaks were showing possibly, this was just pure speculation, but maybe some sort of um, information being displayed while it's docked across the top edge of the screen, like the time or something like that, the name of a game, whatever it may be. I think that was kind of just um, fan wishing a little bit, but and I did see this. So if you look in the very far right of this Mario Kart gameplay, you can see Donkey Kong has a new design, which is interesting. I half wonder if that means maybe the next Mario game has Donkey Kong in a major role, because why would they? Looks like everybody else is pretty close to their original designs. Why would they suddenly change him just for Mario Kart? I feel like there's something bigger behind that. I bet we get a 3D Mario game that's heavily Donkey Kong featured, and he has that new design in it. But I could be wrong. Okay, and this next part I wanted to pause on. So, plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games, but it says Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be fully supported rather, or fully compatible with the Switch 2. I wonder what that means. I'm trying to think of games that would not be compatible. Um, ooh, you know what? I think I just figured it out. So let's reverse. Well, I don't know. If I'm remembering correctly, I forget which one it is, but one of the Joy-Cons has the IR sensor on the very bottom. Forget if it's the left or the right Joy-Con, which I apologize for. It almost looks like it's still got something down there. You can kind of see that rounded edge, like right by my head here. Um, I don't know. Forget if it's the left or the right. Well, I guess that one's got it too. Down at the bottom left, over other way. Down there. So maybe games like 1-2 Switch, where it really used that IR sensor, are not compatible. That might be what it is. I would be surprised if there are a lot of games that are not compatible. I'm sure it's very few. But anyway, there you have it. There is the Nintendo Switch 2 unveil and my kind of thoughts on it. Um, I mean, it's kind of anticlimactic because we've already seen all this if you've been following the leaks. But it's cool. I'm really looking forward to it. Sadistically, I'm a little, or selfishly rather, I'm a little glad that it's seemingly a little further out than we maybe thought. I know the leaks were claiming initially it would maybe be mid-April, late April that the thing comes out, which is still possible. Certainly, I mean, if the Nintendo Direct is April 2nd, there's nothing exactly stopping them from putting it out that month still. But I would be surprised. I think it's more likely that this is a June, July, August release, although I could be wrong. Um, but selfishly, I'm a little glad about that because with Monster Hunter Wilds coming out end of February, which is my most anticipated game for the year, I really want to sink a ton of time into it, and um, having the Switch 2 a little further out gives me more time to do so. But I'm looking forward to it. If I were to put a guess on it, I bet this thing's going to be $399. That's going to be my guess. I think with inflation and certainly the stronger hardware than the original Switch, I think they're going to try and push it a little bit this time. I don't think 399 is unreasonable for what you would get, although certainly I think if it's like 300 or 350, that would be awesome. But I have a feeling this is going to be a little more than that. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below on the Nintendo Switch 2. Give me your predictions as far as price, release date, and let me know if you're going to buy one or if are interested in buying one. So there you have it. As always, make sure you follow us here on YouTube, subscribe here, and check out the Frameskip podcast if you have not already. I'm sure we'll be talking about this reveal in full on the next episode of the podcast. So until then, see you then.